I was reading this stat. It's quite incredible. There are around 4 million people in Australia with some degree of hearing loss. 4 million. Yeah. And many of them choose not to get treated, I think. Why would you think that's the case?
But there's lots of reasons why people don't do anything. It's often lack of access. They might live too far from services, or they may find the services too expensive. And sometimes it's because people think, quite mistakenly in my view, that hearing aids make them look old. Actually, it's quite the reverse.
Like it's an old person's problem. Yeah.
I reckon it's the greatest makeover ever.
Now, what are the consequences of untreated hearing loss?
If you don't treat your hearing loss, at the mildest, the chances are that you'll start to withdraw, just start to get trickier to go out and about because it becomes more effort. You might get misunderstandings with your loved one. Yeah. I'm sure many people have heard the word selective hearing.
Yes.
Well, it probably just means that hearing's a bit more effort. So you've only got so much effort to go round. Then it can affect your employment. There's nothing like not looking as though you're listening at work or not missing things that are said. It certainly affected my father's employment. It may be too difficult to go on. And so it can also really impact mental health. People get depressed. It is a common cause of depression. And at its worst, if it's really untreated, people can get cognitive difficulties.
And it can be quite a gradual loss of hearing, can't it? So what are some obvious signs that you perhaps might not notice creeping up on you?
Certainly people often don't notice hearing creeping up on them. If you have a really sudden loss of hearing, then it's important to get to a doctor or to emergency straight away. But for most people, it creeps up and you just don't notice. So people may find that they're having to ask for repetition. I said a long black.
Yes.
Or they may find it difficult to hear in crowded places when there are a lot of people talking. The general question, and research has really backed this up, is that if you think you have difficulties hearing, you do.
Oh, that's interesting. What about after some sort of one-off events, like some loud music perhaps, or one of those crazy nightclubs you and I often go to, where you feel that sort of, you're like you've been bashed around the ears the next day? That's kind of a temporary hearing impairment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, it's obviously a temporary impairment in that you feel better the next day, and we used to think that it was genuinely temporary, but actually it's not. And it turns out that when you have that dull hearing feeling after a loud event or ringing in your ears, it is actually damage that's been caused. It's very like sun and sunlight. If you get really badly burnt, we know that can be a precursor to other things.